Hello everyone, this is Stephanie, your CSA coach, and we are on week 13 of our CSA shares. So it's an A week for those of you that are every other week. We are officially halfway through our season. So we're on week 13. One quick announcement, bulk plum tomatoes are for sale. At the CSA, there are bags, so 5-pound bags are $12 each. You can pick them up on your CSA day. Or if you're interested in ordering a box, we have 25-pound boxes. Those are $35 each, but those do need to be pre-ordered. So reach out to Trisha at the farm and just pre-order those, giving her your pickup day. Bulk plum tomatoes will be available this week, today or Thursday, and also next week, Tuesday and Thursday. So make sure you order those if you're interested in canning or preserving tomatoes, because those are large batches. All right, we'll jump right into what we received this week for our share. A lot of repeat items from last week. So this should go fairly quickly, and a couple of new items. So we'll start with our tomatoes. We have red tomatoes. These are best stored on the counter. Once you cut them, if you don't finish the whole tomato, put plastic wrap over it or put it in a glass jar and then put it in the fridge and eat typically within a day or two. Generally, we like to slice them up and eat the whole tomato within a day. These are great raw, so they're great for BLTs, for sandwiches, for burgers. You can chop them up and use them on tacos. You can definitely make pico de gallo. We have a lot of great ingredients for that. You can also roast them. You can create sauces with them. If you would like to preserve them, you can make sauce or make like a tomato soup and then freeze that. Great way to preserve them if you still have tomatoes left from last week. So tomatoes on the counter. These are our large red. We also have our cherry tomatoes. So same thing, these guys get stored on the counter. These are great for salads. They're great just to rinse off and throw on the table for a snack. I love just eating them the way they are. But I also really like roasting these or pan frying them. And just like if you do like a pan fry with some onions and garlic, you can serve them with like eggs, either a scrambled egg or an omelet. They go really well with eggs. Great for salads. So you could do a tomato salad. You could do, if you still have basil from last week, you could do a basil and tomato salad. You can just put it in a regular lettuce salad. So lots of options there. And there's a ton of information on the blog if you're getting bored of just plain tomatoes or raw tomatoes. There's different salads that we have on the blog. There's, you can leave them whole, you can slice them in half. These can definitely be preserved, so you can rinse them off and put them on a sheet pan, put them in the freezer and freeze them whole just like that. You can slice them in half and freeze them that way as well. So if you're preserving, or again, add them to something like a tomato soup or a tomato sauce and freeze that. So lots of ways to preserve. Okay, so those are our tomatoes, both best on the counter. We have 2 melons this week. So we have watermelon. The watermelon can either be red on the inside or orange on the inside. I believe our red are seedless and the orange have seeds. Both are delicious, both are wonderful. Generally, this gets used right away in our house, so I'll chop it up and have the kids have it before dinner or as a dessert tonight or tomorrow. Stored whole in the fridge. These are smaller, so if you, like our family of 5 eats the whole thing. My kids love fruit, so we generally don't save it. But if you slice it in half and use only half of it, then cover it in saran wrap or plastic and then put it in the fridge. But best served cold. So red, seedless, or orange, seeded, both delicious. That's our watermelon. We also have either a cantaloupe, honeydew, or a galia melon. Same thing as our watermelon, best serves, or best put in the fridge. Slice and serve cold. You can serve warm as well. Like if you're serving it tonight, you can serve it warm or room temperature. But it's refreshing when it's nice and cold. Same thing as the watermelon. If you slice it and don't use it all, store it in the fridge covered in plastic wrap. Either of our melons pair really well for like as a side for breakfast, as a snack. You could do like cottage cheese and melon. You could do a parfait with melons in it, especially the cantaloupe, the honeydew, or the galia melon. They're not as juicy as the watermelon. Watermelon goes really well with cottage cheese or just as a side. You can also grill these. So if you want to do something different, you can drizzle in honey and grill them and then serve them warm. It's just a different idea of how to serve them. They generally don't get grilled in our house because they get devoured just plain sliced up. Okay, so those are our melons. We have lots of peppers. So we have hot peppers. We got 3 hot peppers. These get stored in the fridge in our crisper drawer or in a plastic bag. Great to add spice to any dish. So you can definitely serve them raw, slice them thin, serve them with tacos. You can pickle them. You can do like a hot pepper honey. There's, I think it actually is called hot pepper honey on the blog. And I use that honey for salad dressings, for drink recipes. I think this will be featured in an upcoming recipe as well, just because they're fun to work with. They add spice. You can candy them. You can use them in your pico de gallo or any of your salsas. So those are our hot peppers. You can also stuff them. So we have jalapenos. I think there were banana peppers and one other pepper that were an option. You could get 3 of them. You can freeze them. So over the season, we'll get a lot of hot peppers. I generally slice them up. You can freeze them whole, but I generally slice them up, throw them in a Ziploc bag, labeled with how much I have in there, just so I can use them throughout the winter because they're nice to have. So that's an option as well. You can dehydrate them also. So those are our hot peppers. We received sweet peppers, so either orange or red. Same idea for storage. We're putting them in the crisper drawer or in the in a bag in the fridge. These are served raw or cooked. They're great in sautés. They're great in stir fries. They're great on top of salads or just served as a snack. There's a dill dip on the blog. Great to do, like we have a lot of peppers this week. We could do a sheet pan meal with peppers and onions and a protein. So those are our sweet peppers. Cubanelle peppers and our green bell pepper, same thing. We store them in the fridge, in the crisper drawer, or in a plastic bag. Served raw or cooked, served in sautés. You could also do like eggs. You could do scrambled eggs with a side of peppers and onions, or you could do sausage and peppers, or you could do the sheet pan meals. Lots of ideas for these. We have our sweet onions. These are cured, so they get stored in a cool, dry place away from our potatoes. So do not put them with the potatoes, otherwise they will go bad because of the moisture. Cool, dry place. Sweet onions can be used in any of the sautés and the stir fries and the roasted vegetables or the sheet pan meals. They can be grilled, they can be caramelized. You can do, I'm pretty sure there's I don't know what it's called, but some sort of onion dip, caramelized onion dip on the blog. You could do onion soup, so that would work as well. We received summer squash, lots of varieties. These get stored in the crisper drawer or in a plastic bag of the fridge. These are great served raw, they're great grilled. They're also really good turned into noodles. There is a summer squash or zucchini rollatini recipe on the blog. There's, I want to say an Asian inspired salad is what it's called, that uses these as noodles. You could do like skewers. We have a lot of vegetables, the onions, the peppers, the zucchini that can be grilled in skewers on the grill. You can slice them long ways, just to put a little bit of oil and salt and pepper on them, and grill them that way, or grill them into rounds. Can also be you can add them to stir fries, and you can also do roasted vegetables with these. All right, a couple of other items and then we're done. We have eggplant again. So our eggplant, we want to keep the moisture away from it, otherwise it will go bad. So it's stored in the fridge, but generally we want to wrap it either in paper towels or a cloth so that the moisture is absorbed and stays away from the eggplant itself. Eggplant can be roasted. There's a couple different varieties available at the farm. I like to fry the eggplant or grill it. So you can do the same thing I talked about with the summer squash. You can slice it up, drizzle some oil over it, salt and pepper, super simple, and throw it on the grill as a side, either sliced into rounds or into long strips. You can roast it along with the other vegetables we talked about roasting. And you can also, what else? There's an eggplant dip, I'm pretty sure, on the blog. And I like to use it for eggplant parm. So I generally like to peel it, bread it, fry it, and then either use that immediately for eggplant parm, or freeze those once they're breaded, and then save those until I have a bunch and use that for eggplant parm, or just a fried eggplant as a side. So that's eggplant. We got to pick ground cherries. Ground cherries can be eaten raw or they can be cooked. There's lots of fun recipes on the blog. There's also been fun recipes that have been posted. I know they're great to bake with, so you can do ground cherry muffins, ground cherry pie. There's ground cherry puffs, puff pastry on the blog, or tarts. You can use them for a flavoring, so you can roast them and puree them. You can also dehydrate them. So generally you want to store them just like this, either on the counter, which they will ripen a little bit more on the counter, or in the fridge. You want to keep them in the husks. And then once you are ready to use them, you want to peel the husks and then take out the ground cherry on the inside. Throw the husks away, and the ground cherry is what you're going to use. These can be dehydrated, so they're kind of like candy once you dehydrate them, like a raisin or a craisin. So if you want to preserve them, you can dehydrate them. You can also freeze them. So I typically, if I have too many and I'm not going to use them within the week, I typically will peel them, wash them, and then measure how much I have, throw them in a Ziploc bag, and throw them in the freezer. And then they're amazing for baked goods all winter long. So those are our ground cherries. We have head lettuce. Head lettuce is stored unwashed in a plastic bag in the fridge. Once you're ready to use it, wash it. If you have leftover lettuce and you're not using it all, then put some paper towels in your bag to absorb the moisture once it's washed, and then also store that in the fridge, but it's best unwashed. Our lettuce is really good for lettuce wraps. It's good for salads. It's good for shredded and used as a topping on tacos. It's good for burgers. Anything you would generally use lettuce for. So that gets stored in the fridge. Our other green that we got this week were dandelion greens. Dandelion greens are a little bit more bitter. If you want to take some of that bitterness away, you can take your greens and soak them in salt water for about 10 minutes and then pull them out and rinse them off. These can be eaten raw, or they can be cooked, sauteed. I know there's a dandelion green recipe on the blog. My husband likes to eat them raw. I like to generally cook them with something a little bit sweeter, like a maple syrup, to cut that bitterness. Just a little bit, you don't need a lot, or a honey. Also pair really well with like bacon. So these can get sauteed, they can get pureed into green cubes, they can be added to smoothies. What else? They're really good for you. So dandelion greens have a lot of great health benefits. So give them a shot, even if you don't like the bitterness of them. Last but not least, we got corn this week. So we got 4 ears of corn, best stored just like this in the fridge with the husks on. Generally, we want to use this over the next few days. The sweetness will be perfect probably within the next 3 days, ideally. You can grill them just like this, so soak them in water and grill them with the husks on. You can peel them and boil them. You can roast them. The cobs can be used for like stock, so don't throw away the cobs when you're done if you want to really use every part of the corn. You can also eat it raw. I know there's a roasted corn salsa on the blog, and then I'm working potentially on some ideas for other recipes with corn over the next few weeks, so stay tuned for that. But corn is just generally good, just as a side, served simple with butter and a little bit of seasoning for dinner. Okay, so that is it. Remember, if you're ordering bulk plum tomatoes, to reach out to Trisha, especially if you want the box. The bags do not need to be pre-ordered. Focus on all of your produce from last week, using that up, and then work through this week. Make sure you're posting any fun recipes you find that work well with our produce for this week, and reach out and tag me if you have any questions on storage, what to use them for, things that you're stuck with, or things that you just want a new idea for. Just post on Facebook and tag me in the post so that I can help you. I will see you all again next week.